Hiring preschool teachers, childcare, play cafe, and enrichment program team members in a panic almost always leads to the same result. Settling for whoever shows up instead of those A-plus team members you actually need. You've tried posting on Indeed. You've crossed your fingers, but those generic job postings, they only attract generic candidates. And early childhood businesses are not generic. Confident early childhood operators, CEOs, they do not react to hiring. They build employer brands that work all year long. When you stop treating hiring like a fire drill and start treating it like a system, the right team members will find you. And that's exactly what we're covering today. Welcome to the Early Childhood Business Made Easy podcast. I am Kelly Peak, your host, and I'm super excited to be here to help you find more peace and profits as you control that chaos and clear that overwhelm. Now, you are 2 weeks out from your busy season. You just found out a team member is leaving. Your stomach, well, it probably dropped. You know what happens next? It's the scramble. You post a job and maybe you get 3 applications. 2 of them probably ghost you and don't even show up for the first interview. And the third one, well, they're not exactly who you had in mind, but you need someone right away. You need that warm body in the classroom by Monday. So you hire that person. And within 60 days, you are right back where you started. Now, if that story felt a little too familiar, my friend, you are not alone. I have lived that cycle more times than I care to admit. And here's what I know after 30 years of operating preschools, play cafes, and enrichment programs. The problem, well, it isn't that great team members don't exist. The problem is that most early childhood businesses have no real system for attracting the right people and no employer brand that makes the right candidate say, that's the place I want to work. Traditional hiring advice, well, it tells you to write a better job description. But in a ratio dependent, licensing heavy business like the ones that we operate, where your team is your product and your service, that's just a Band-Aid on a much bigger gap. So what's the good news? Well, this is one of the most solvable problems in your business. And when you approach it like a CEO, like the CEO that you are, you will be able to solve it. So today we're talking about how to build an employer brand and a hiring system that attracts quality candidates year round, not just when you are desperate. So I'm going to walk you through 3 strategies that are going to shift how you think about hiring completely. Number 1, build an employer brand that speaks before you even post a job. Number 2, build a proactive hiring pipeline so you never have to start from zero. And number 3, use a consistent hiring process that qualifies candidates and protects your team culture. Now, by the way, I want to remind you about something that we do every week. We usually provide a free resource that goes along with these wonderful podcast episodes. And this week, that resource is the hiring secrets to growing your best team ever. And it's waiting for you at kellypeak.com, where you will find information about this podcast episode 175, because it is time to stop settling and start attracting. Now, desperate hiring is a symptom. It's not the problem. And it's patching it with urgent job posting that's keeping you on that hamster wheel indefinitely. When you build a recognizable employer brand and a consistent hiring system, you stop reacting to team member openings and you start leading with confidence. That shift from reactive manager to CEO, confident early childhood operator, that is what gives you a stable, mission-aligned team and your time, freedom, lifestyle back. Here's what most hiring advice gets wrong for our early childhood businesses. It treats hiring like a transaction. Post a job, screen the resumes, and make an offer. But you're not filling a warehouse position or maybe a sandwich maker. You are inviting someone into the most intimate, trust-dependent environment that exists for families. Parents are leaving their children in your hands, their most prized possessions in life. That means the candidates who are genuinely passionate about this work, well, they aren't scrolling job boards waiting for a generic listing to appear. They're looking for a place that feels like it was built for people like them. If your hiring process looks like every other business's hiring process, well, the best candidates, they're going to walk right past you. Our industry experiences annual turnover rates between 26 and 40%. Let me repeat myself. Turnover rates between 26 and 40%. Those are among the highest of any industry. And every time a team member walks out the door, well, the cost to replace them, that can run into thousands of dollars when you figure in recruiting time, training hours, and the disruption to your families. That's not a staffing inconvenience. That is a profit leak. And the businesses that break this cycle, well, they aren't the ones with the deepest pockets or the biggest signing bonuses. They are the ones who've built a people strategy and one that works before the opening even exists. Now, one of the CEOs that I've worked with, she was operating a small enrichment program with a team of 6 people. Every summer, she lost at least 2 of them. College students moving on, life changes, the usual. And every summer, she found herself in full panic mode, calling everyone she knew and praying for someone that might have a warm lead for her. Now, when we started working together, the first thing we tackled wasn't her job posting. It was her employer brand. We defined what made her program the kind of place someone would genuinely want to grow in. We built a simple hiring process she could activate any time of the year, not just when the vacancy landed. And she started talking about her culture on social media and her community, not just during those enrollment seasons. By the following spring, she had a running list of candidates who had reached out asking if she had any openings. She filled her summer roles in March, and she leads her team with confidence now. And she told me recently that for the first time in years, she is actually enjoying the hiring process. Now, that's what happens when you build the system instead of just responding to the crisis. So let's dive into those 3 strategies that we're going to talk about today. And we're going to start with strategy number 1, where you are going to build an employer brand that speaks before you even post a job. Because here's the truth that most hiring advice skips right over. By the time you're posting a job, you're already behind. The early childhood businesses that constantly attract those A-plus team members, well, they aren't the ones with the flashiest job listing. They're the ones that have been quietly building a reputation as a place where people love to work long before there's an opening. So your employer brand is simply the answer to this question. What is it like to work here? And here's the thing, you already have an employer brand. The question is whether it's intentional or is it accidental? Now, if you're not actively shaping the narrative, that narrative is shaping itself through word of mouth, through Glassdoor reviews, through what your current team members are saying when someone asks them about their job. An intentional employer brand for an early childhood business has a few clear ingredients. It starts with knowing exactly who your dream team members are, not just the resume qualifications, but their values, their personality, what gets them excited about working with children. When you can describe your ideal team member with clarity, you can speak directly to them in every job posting, every social media post, and every community conversation. It also means showcasing your culture visibly. Now, that doesn't require a fancy marketing budget. It requires consistency. So a quick Instagram story, maybe of your team celebrating a birthday, maybe a caption about what a great morning looked like in one of the classrooms or a great party, maybe a LinkedIn post about why you are so proud of the work that you and your people do every day. These small, regular moments, will they build a picture of your business that the right candidates are drawn to? And this is even before they know you have an opening. Now, your employer brand also shows up in how you treat the candidates who apply right now. Is your hiring process professional? Is it warm? Is it organized? Or does it feel chaotic and reactive? Remember, people talk. A candidate who had a great interview experience, even if they weren't hired, they may refer the perfect person to you 6 months later. So the impression your hiring process leaves, that is part of your brand. Now, here's 2 action steps I want you to take this week. Write a 1-paragraph description of your dream team member, not just their credentials, not just their qualifications, but their values, their energy, and what makes them a great fit for your specific business or program. Now, this becomes the foundation of every job posting and hiring conversation that you're going to have going forward. Okay, number 2, I want you to identify 3 ways you can showcase your team culture publicly this month on social media, in your community, maybe your newsletter, or at a local event. Start building the narrative before that vacancy arrives. Now, to help you with this, be sure to download that free resource, The Hiring Secrets to Growing Your Best Team Ever. It's waiting for you at kellypeak.com, where you're going to find information on this podcast, episode number 175. Now, on to strategy number 2, build a proactive hiring pipeline. Now, this is so you never have to start from zero. So the biggest mistake that early childhood business operators make with hiring isn't a bad job description. It's waiting until there's an opening to start. By the time you're actively hiring, you're operating in scarcity mode. And scarcity mode, well, that leads to settling. And when you're desperate, your standards quietly lower themselves. You hire the person who is available, not the person who is the right fit. Now, proactive hiring pipeline means you're always gently in recruiting mode, not in a frantic or an exhausting way, but in a systematic, low effort way that keeps qualified candidates in your orbit. So when an opening does appear, you are not starting from scratch. This looks like keeping a running list of people who may have expressed interest in your program, whether they reached out through your website, maybe they mentioned they'd love to work for you, maybe at a community event, or did they submit a resume when you weren't hiring? That list, my friend, that is gold. So reach out to those people first when an opening occurs. It also means building relationships with local early childhood education programs in your community. Think community colleges, universities with ECE departments, professional development organizations. Let them know you're always open to meeting strong candidates for future openings. Now, many programs have job boards or internet pipelines that most operators don't think to tap into until there is a crisis. Now, one of the best places that we have found is actually our local high school. Now, you have to follow your licensing requirements, and every state is different. But in our community, our high schools offer learning credits for jobs and working. So what happens is we can get high school kiddos who are looking to earn extra credit through their school programs and work at the same time. It's a win-win. It's a great fit. Now, in our community, you can work starting at age 16. Again, every community is different, but be sure to also check out your local high schools. Your current team is your most underutilized recruiting asset. This I know for sure. The people who love working for you, well, guess what? They know other people who would love to work for you. And good people refer good people. So a simple referral program, even informal one, can completely transform your candidate pool. So when your team members are so proud to be there, guess what? They recruit for you naturally. That's the culture doing the work. So you could do a bonus, you could do an incentive, whatever you want to do. But usually what happens is, again, those quality, great people, they have quality, great friends. Remember the old saying, you are who you surround yourself with. And don't sleep on the power of a working interview as part of your pipeline building strategy. When you have a promising candidate, even if the timing isn't right, investing a couple hours in a working interview, it's going to give you real data and it's going to keep those relationships warm. It's much smarter than scrambling 3 months later. So don't forget about that working interview and how important that is. Again, you'll find more information on that in that free resource related to this episode. So your action steps here. Number 1, I want you to create a simple candidate database. Even a Google worksheet's going to work fine, where you can track each person who's expressed interest in working with you, include their name, their contact info, date of contact, and any notes you might have, and then review and refresh it quarterly. Then I want you, number 2, to reach out to one local early childhood education program this week. Introduce yourself. Let them know that you are a quality employer open to meeting strong candidates. Build that relationship before the need gets urgent. And number 3, create a hiring incentive for your team and introduce it. Maybe something like a $50 bonus for a potential interview candidate and $250 if you actually hire the referral candidate. Play with it. See what works best for you. Now on to strategy number 3. Use a consistent hiring process that qualifies candidates and protects your culture. Now, even when the right candidates are finding you, a chaotic or inconsistent hiring process can cost you the best ones, or worse, let the wrong ones slip through. So a professional hiring experience, that's going to do 2 things simultaneously. It's going to show strong candidates that your business is worth joining, and it's going to give you the information you actually need to make a confident decision. So the talent management playbook inside Preschool Business Blueprint in the course inside the Shine Mentorship, it's going to walk you through a 10-step hiring process that's specifically designed for early childhood businesses. So if you are currently in our Shine Mentorship program, go check it out. This is the foundation of that process. It's something so simple, knowing exactly what you're looking for before you even start. Not just the job title, the specific qualities, behaviors, and values that will thrive in your existing culture that your team is going to love and that's going to serve your families well. When you define your dream team member first, everything else, it's just going to flow more naturally. Your job posting is going to speak to the right people. Your screening questions are going to filter or fit. Your interview, it's going to reveal character instead of just credentials. So the phone screen or maybe Zoom interview that you do first, that's your first filter. It's a quick 10 to 15 minute conversation to get a feel for communication style, availability, the basic alignment. Is the pay going to work for them? Are the hours going to work for them? If someone can't show up professionally for a quick phone or Zoom meeting, well, that's important information. The in-depth interview, that's the working interview next. That's where you're going to ask behavior-based questions that reveal how they've actually handled situations in the past, not just how they think they would handle a hypothetical. Questions like, tell me about a time that you had to quickly adapt your plans in a group of children, or how have you handled a disagreement with a colleague in a previous role? Those are going to be key questions. Now, the working interview is what I consider the most powerful tool in this process and the most underused. It is a 1.5 to 2 hour interview where a candidate actually interacts with the kiddos and your existing team. This is going to tell you more than any resume or any interview ever could. You see how they move in the space, how they connect with the children, how they respond when something doesn't go as planned. Are they driven? Are they self-motivated? If they're not a clear yes after that, then they're a no. That's not harsh. It's just protecting your culture. And please, please, please do not skip the reference check. A few targeted open-ended questions again to previous supervisors, well, that can reveal patterns of behavior that never surfaced in the interview. How something is said matters as much as what is said. So 2 action steps here. I want you to download the Hiring Secrets to Growing Your Best Team Ever from kellypeak.com, where the podcast information is, and identify which steps of your current hiring process are you missing, which ones are rushed or maybe undefined. Pick one that really speaks to you and that resonates and that would fill any of those gaps. What's going to make the biggest difference? And commit to closing it before your next hire. The second thing I want you to do is to write 3 behavior-based interview questions tailored to your specific program and culture. Not generic HR questions, but questions that would genuinely help you see if someone belongs on your team. Keep them somewhere accessible so you're never winging it in an interview again, and you don't have to repeat this process over and over. You can put it on rinse and repeat. Instead of having to come up with 3 new questions every single time, rinse and repeat. Just use the same 3 questions. So let's bring this all together. Today, we move from reactive, desperate hiring to a proactive CEO level people strategy. When you build an employer brand that speaks before you post a job, maintain a pipeline of quality candidates year round, and use a consistent hiring process that actually qualifies for culture fit, you are not just filling a role. You are building the team that builds your business. And that's what it means to lead as a CEO, a confident early childhood operator, instead of just operating in permanent crisis mode. Now it's time for our manifestation minute. So find a place where you can just get quiet with your thoughts and imagine this. It's the start of your busy season and your program has a full team with people who genuinely want to be there. There's no scramble. There's no settling. You're not laying awake at 2 a.m. wondering how you're going to cover a classroom or a birthday party. Instead, you're spending that energy on the families you serve and the business you're growing because your people strategy, it's finally working with you, not against you. Now, my friend, here are your next steps. Download the Hiring Secrets to Growing Your Best Team Ever at kellypeak.com. It is free, and complete that dream team member profile this week. Number two, grab the team culture blueprint. It's at kellypeak.com shop resources. It's the companion resource that helps you build the culture that retains the team members you actually hire. And if you need deeper support, if you're ready for a real hiring and team building system inside of a community with early childhood CEOs, join us inside the CEO Mentorship program. It's the Shine CEO Mentorship program at kellypeak.com. We work through module 2, which is empower your team step by step. Now, you got into this business because you believed children deserve better, and that hasn't changed. And neither has your ability to build something that honors that belief. The team you're building right now, they're not just employees. They're the people who make your mission possible every single day. You deserve to lead them well, and they deserve to work somewhere that invests in them. And that starts with you making the decision to stop hiring from panic and start hiring from a plan. My friend, you've got this. I can't wait to see you next week.